You know, I noticed something recently. I talk a lot about Halo.
I agree from the creators of Halo and Destiny.
Well, I guess if I'm going to talk about Bungie and Halo constantly, that it's super convenient for me that the brand new Halo Studios is releasing a remake of Halo CE this month. Let's see how that's turning out. Oh. Oh, no. Oh, God, no.
Oh my God!
Okay, so it looks bad. It looks, really, really bad. But I guess that's just the way the news goes. Wait, what is that? Oh my God, I used to love Assassin's Creed. You know what? That doesn't look too bad, I guess. I don't really get why.
Why the ill temper?
Something is really, really fishy here. Look at those frogs be up to here. Wait, what?
Good Lord, what is happening in there?
Something really weird is going on here. Why on earth would Ubisoft and Activision suddenly be announcing re-releases of their older beloved games? And these brand new developers, Halo Studios, why would they be remaking Halo right now? Oh wait, what's that?
This is the end of the mystery. Well.
Yep, alright, I see what's happening here. These three brands aren't re-releasing their old games out of the kindness of their hearts. They're doing it because they're bleeding money. And I'm going to show you exactly how the hot dogs are made, starting with... Okay, so yeah, 343, I mean, Halo Studios is getting ready to release a remake of Halo Combat Evolved. And they're calling it Campaign Evolved, which kind of already tells you everything you need to know about the level of hubris involved here. Because apparently, after getting Halo wrong 5 separate times, this is the one where they'll finally fix Bungie's shortcomings. Look at how cool and high fidelity and quality it looks. It's so unreal. Except that it doesn't understand a lick of the design language of Halo CE, or any of Halo for that matter. They made a big stink about showing off how they went back to Master Chief's original design, and yet they still get huge, major things very, very wrong. I'm going to ignore the fact that this is now the 3rd time that they've gotten the wrong material finish on Master Chief's CE armor, but most of the enemies don't look anything like they should in CE, and most of the weapons are just flat out wrong. Seriously, what possible reason could there be to put the vent on the plasma pistol on backwards? And no, this isn't some new, bold reinterpretation. Halo Studios simply spent the last 6 years developing half of a remake for a 25-year-old game using recycled assets from Reach and Infinite, and now they want you to pay them $50 for the pleasure. Meanwhile, they've yet again butchered the actual look of Installation 4, adding these giant over-designed shapes all over the damn thing that makes it look tiny. If you look at the ring in the original Bungie games, you'll notice that it looks almost flat. This isn't because of any technological limitations of the time. This is because Bungie is following a design language established in older sci-fi franchises like Star Wars and Star Trek. These colossal structures are meant to look flat because in order for the camera to get a full view of the build, we need to be so far away from all the tiny little details so that they blend together into a single flat surface. It's the same effect as looking at a city like New York from orbit, but on a way more extreme scale. And to top it off, they also still don't fundamentally get the core concept of what the Halo array even is.
What's the temperature here, chat? Give me a guess. What's the temperature here on Halo in the new graphics? Give me a range. 70 degrees? Okay,
Probably.
what's the temperature now?
Oh. Yeah. Significantly colder, it looks like.
Yeah, there you go. It's about 45, 50 degrees on the ring in here. The atmosphere is nice and thin and wispy. You can actually see into the void of space, and you understand immediately when you land here, you understand this shit is fake. We're on an artificial construct in the middle of space. This looks like Miami. This looks like something that hasn't been touched in 100,000 years.
The environment of Halo should be cold, artificial. It should mimic the properties of natural landscapes while also just being like a little bit wrong. A lot of people like to make fun of this line from CE.
This cave is not a natural formation. Someone built it, so it must lead somewhere.
Because the cave that Chief and Cortana enter is quite evidently a man-made tunnel. But this line was written and recorded before the level had been finished, which tells us that the developer intent of the design team at Bungie was for the natural landscapes to have a curated or artificial look to them. Think of the landscaping at Disney World, especially somewhere like Avatar Land. These mountains and waterfalls are meant to look like natural landscape, but they're obviously not. And that's, you know, it's kind of emphasized here because this is all fauna that doesn't really exist on Earth. And Halo's kind of meant to be the same way. Sort of a uncanny valley effect, but with landscaping. Halo Studios assumes that the semi-natural look of Halo's environment in CE is, once again, just due to technical limitations when Bungie was developing the game, and that they can improve and fix this by making it look more realistic. They did the exact same thing in CE Anniversary.
Look to the right, there's a whole planet.
Yeah.
That
and it's just not there.
Completely shrouded.
I don't even think it's shrouded. I think it's... Oh, no, it is there, because if you look further to the right, you can...
Yeah.
What the
But having the planet be so visible really gives you this sense that, like, holy shit, well, this is not supposed to be.
This is not yeah. This is like someone played God and did something they were not supposed to do. They are not capable of properly recreating Halo because they just don't get it.
The point is you're looking up into the heavens and seeing hell. That's the fucking visual metaphor here.
And that is what 343 doesn't understand.
Because 343 definitely didn't get it. I just think this team does not fundamentally understand Halo.
They don't get it. It's been 15 fucking years and nobody gets it but me.
But enough yelling at clouds. Let's yell at some tunnels. Here's the interior of the Halo array in CE. And here it is in Anniversary. And here it is again in the remake. Notice anything important? Anything that really stands out to you?
Where's the darkness, Mansley?
Well,
Yeah, so I really want to know what Planet 343 grew up on, where atmospheric mystery lighting means bolting a damn arc reactor to every wall and ceiling so that everything inside looks like the inside of a fucking IKEA at 9 p.m. Bungie was able to
Build this in a cave! With a box of scraps!
And while we're on the subject of Forerunner architecture, can someone please tell me why Halo Studios insists on making it all look like postmodern art? Forerunner structures are supposed to be brutalist. Slightly metallic up close, maybe, but with a more concrete, rusty, aged, dirty appearance at a distance. So why, on Guilty Spark's green installation, do all of these structures look like they just got a 2-for-1 wax job down at the local paint spray? But I know what you're thinking. Luke? All of these things are just scenery to shoot aliens in. It doesn't actually affect the gameplay. Well, you would be right. I still wouldn't be happy about it, but you are technically right. Luckily for me, Halo Studios fucked that up too. Master Chief can now have himself a nice little morning jog along the shore. Arms flailing about like he's in a rom-com, running right past enemies so the player never has to engage in anything challenging ever. You know, I wonder what would happen if you did this in CE. Ooh. Oh, ooh. Oh. Well, where's the fun in dying over and over, am I right? But it's okay, you can choose not to press the sprint button so that you can experience Halo Studios' incredibly impressive AI and animation work. Huh.
When the elites attack you with their sword, it's that. That's it, right? You'll notice he doesn't switch feet, right? He doesn't switch feet. He's not generating any power through his legs.
Well, I mean, surely it's better than what Bungie made 25 years ago, right?
You'll see in Halo CE, the momentum of the elite's melee attack actually moves them forward. So it's this versus that.
Oh, wow, that's honestly really impressive. But at least we can whip around in the Warthog like old times, right? Man, I used to love doing grenade launches. That was so funny.
Sometimes you just want some old school vibes.
Oh, thank God. At least the developers are giving us a means to turn these changes off by spending hours, potentially multiple missions deep into the campaign hunting for skulls that disable these new features just to make the remake slightly more like the original. Wait, why do the skulls turn these things off anyway? Shouldn't it be the other way around? You find a skull to be able to sprint, or you find a skull to turn on Warthog damage? Why would they do it this way? Oh, I get it. It's so that they can force you and everyone else who doesn't know how to find skulls, or maybe doesn't even know that they exist, to play this classic game their way, while trying to smugly capitulate to actual fans of the original by saying, "Look, we did this for you! Aren't we so gracious?" They're so gracious that they'll even let you play couch co-op, so long as every player has a separate PlayStation, Steam, or Xbox account and a separate subscription to PlayStation Plus or Game Pass. So, picture this. Little Timmy got home from class. He's 8. He's never played a Halo game before because Halo's been lame as shit since before he was born. But he knows everyone loves Halo CE. So he goes to his dad, Jonathan, who grew up with Halo CE.
Dad! There's a Halo remake! Can we play it?
There's a remake of Halo? Yes, of course, my beautiful boy. I'd love to play Halo with you. Wait, I need an account to play the game offline? Well, okay, I guess. Anything to make wonderful memories with my cherished son. Just do that. Right. There we go. And... PlayStation Plus. Need a subscription too? $28 for 3 months. Well, if I really have to, I suppose. Okay, Timmy, now you join as player too.
Dad, are you okay?
This right here is on you, Halo Studios. This is your fault. Now, some of you may be saying that at least this gives PlayStation players the opportunity to play Halo for the first time, or they're giving us 3 new prequel missions all about Sergeant Johnson. We love Sergeant Johnson, to which I would counter with, why couldn't they just port MCC to PlayStation and fix the co-op bug that's made it almost unplayable for the last 12 years? That would actually be a great idea. Not to mention that the new prequel missions are probably going to be shit because Halo Studios can't write stories to save their fucking lives.
The didact is leaving, Requiem.
Goodbye, John.
Like hell she is. Nice work.
Thanks. Spartans aren't the only badasses in the UNSC.
But then we run into the dilemma where Halo Studios has to face the facts that they've spent the last 6 years since Halo Infinite making absolutely nothing. And they would also have to reconcile with the fact that not a single human being on the entire planet gives a flying fuck about their awful new entries that respect neither the player's time nor the lore of the franchise.
You are Forerunner.
And if they tried to just move on and make Halo 7, well, we already know where that's gonna lead. Now put your keyboard down. Yes, you. I'm specifically talking to you. No, I do not just hate remakes for the sake of hating remakes. Resident Evil and Dead Space have both had immensely faithful remakes that I really love as a fan of both franchises. Actually, this reminds me of another cornerstone FPS series that had a remake recently. Oh yeah, another series that I just love to bitch about. Despite the current state of Call of Duty, I really did used to love these games. But back in 2016, as a desperate bid to salvage the sales numbers of Infinite Warfare, Raven Software was tasked with remaking the one that started it all. The 4th game in the franchise. Modern Warfare Remastered was practically perfect, save for some less than desirable business practices on Activision's end. Raven Software had managed to beautifully recapture the game feel, narrative tone, and aesthetic of a game that came out 8 years prior, just with newer, higher fidelity assets that preserved the original artist's intent. And then they did it again in 2020 with Modern Warfare 2. Although this time they only remade the campaign sans multiplayer, much like campaign devolved over there. Haunting, horror-adjacent moments such as the infamous No Russian or the homage to Red Dawn at the start of Wolverines were once again perfectly recreated with better texture work and effects to make these terrifying scenes even more immersive. For contrast, if Halo Studios had been placed in charge of making these remakes, of their own accord would look something like this. We'll replace the bright orange skies that evoke imagery of hell itself walking the earth in DC with a clear sunny day. Because obviously the sky can't turn red, that wouldn't be realistic. And of course we have to update the gameplay too, because no one wants these old clunky controls, so we'll also introduce Tac Sprint, a beloved new feature from the more modern games. And finally, we'll update the iconic M4 by rebalancing its ammo capacity and adding an ammo counter for better readability. So, if Raven Software made some really great remakes back in the day, part of me wonders why they're not doing Black Ops 1 and 2 now, let alone Modern Warfare 3. A few weeks ago, Black Ops was re-released on PlayStation platforms since they hadn't been playable for Sony gamers since the 7th console generation, while still being available natively on PC and via backwards compatibility on Xbox. But it really does beg the question as to why not a remaster. One could say that it's because Raven's doing support work for Modern Warfare 4, maybe work on Black Ops 7 seasonal content, or maybe the fact that they're the current team dedicated to Warzone, but first of all, not a single one of those products has any sort of player support behind it right now. Black Ops 7 was a huge flop, Modern Warfare 4 is already seeing backlash from fans online, and it's releasing right before GTA 6, which is probably going to be the biggest game of the past 10 years. And Warzone? It literally disappeared off the face of the earth ever since Warzone 2.0 flopped. So I mean, I suppose it is easier to just re-release Black Ops 1 and 2 with some minor improvements on modern consoles with crossplay and... Wait, what's that? What are you... No, that can't be... Come on, that can't be right. Sorry, I'm just now getting word from my producers that there aren't going to be any improvements on Black Ops.
What the fuck do you mean there aren't any improvements? No improved textures? Removing wager matches in theater mode? No fixed server connections? No fix to decade-old security flaws that have left every single other version of this game with horrible hacker infestations? What the hell were they thinking? And then you have the balls to charge $40 fucking per game from over 14 fucking years ago?
Well, I ain't buying!
And now you're telling me that every single PlayStation player will also have to rebuy the game at that $40 price per game and all the DLC separately? Versions of the game, I should add, that were ported from the original PC release, and you can tell because the developers couldn't be fucked to remove loading screen tips for features that aren't even in the release? No. Fuck you, Activision. I thought this section was going to be a nice change of pace for you, but obviously you too refused to learn your lesson. Blow your $40 re-release out of your ass. Every single person who wants to play these games today not only has the right, but the responsibility to obtain these games on the high seas and play them on plutonium. And speaking of going on the account, that brings us to... I had never actually played Black Flag back in the day. I had just a little bit of the tism and thought that pirates were too loud and that it didn't really make sense to make a pirate an assassin. But it's okay now.
Got better.
I went off and played the entire game beginning to end just for this video, and it was pretty fun. And I suppose it's not totally out of the question for a remake to be developed given the popularity of the game, as well as the fact that the Ezio trilogy and AC3 already got remasters fairly recently. But I do feel like there's some issues here. Let's start off with the parkour system, since it's probably the quickest to cover. Now, to be completely honest, sometimes it looks frankly very good and sometimes it looks extremely bad, floaty and weightless. The thing is that Black Flag's parkour was always a little bit jank, and an update would have been good, especially since apparently none of the original game code was used for this remake.
Rebuilt from absolutely zero original code by Ubisoft Singapore.
But the thing is that Ubisoft Singapore clearly based these mechanics off of Shadows and Mirage, neither of which have very impressive climbing physics, which is really frustrating when you consider the fact that this franchise perfected climbing 12 years ago. Which also brings me to the combat system itself. I've seen a lot of reviewers call this out as a huge improvement over how shallow the old combat was, and I guess it is? It looks like maybe 2 or 3 new moves have been added, which doesn't really scream emotional depth to me, but what do I know? This isn't to say that there aren't some mechanical improvements that I'm happy to see make it into the remake. The fact that you can't crouch on command in the original is honestly sort of insane. But did we really need to give all enemies a health boost and also tell you exactly how much health they all have now? Doesn't really seem like an improvement to the core experience in any way, or like it was a decision made for creative reasons. It just seems like they carried over code from the newer, more RPG-like Assassin's Creed games and expected the players to neither notice nor care. Also, I don't know what sort of parasites have infected Ubisoft's brains in the last 10 years, but they really just can't help themselves, covering the entire fucking screen in this visual diarrhea. What purpose does it serve to have all of this garbage on your screen the entire time, other than just to have more shit on screen? In the original game, contextual menus would pop up briefly to show you what you selected and then quickly fade back away so that you can see the fucking game. But I'll admit, I guess that's a little bit of a nitpick on my part. My biggest issue, though, is the fact that the original Black Flag is still very much playable. I literally just played it on PlayStation 5. So who is this for? What's the purpose of this? One of my friends told me that he didn't even know the original is still available on PlayStation Store. Are they just hoping that the majority of consumers also don't realize that? Or is it because Ubisoft really needed to justify their new Singapore studio wasting all that time and money to redevelop ship combat for Skull and Bones? Now, the ship combat does look pretty damn close to how it should, although the reticle for your swivel turret looks a little more obtuse than it used to be, but I guess that's alright. And I will admit, the new lighting and effects look very pretty. Still though, something feels really strange about the circumstances surrounding this remake. Why go through all the effort to remake a game that honestly isn't all that dated in the grand scheme of things, and sell it for full price? What we've got here is 3 companies, Activision, Ubisoft, and Halo Studios, or rather 343, that have been in steep decline in product quality, in player trust, and in sales revenue. All 3 of them have spent the last 10 years cutting corners at every possible opportunity so that they can milk more money out of you like cattle, and when that well dried up, they turned to selling you recycled goods with the exact same corners cut and hoping that you'll forget about the past decade of at best mediocrity. These aren't passionate re-releases made by developers who care about improving on classic titles. They're jingling keys held up in your face so that they can trick you into rebuying something you already own. And it isn't just these 3 jackasses either. It's Disney, it's Warner Brothers, it's Sony. All of these companies have reached the exact same conclusion. It's a lot easier to remake and resell something that people already loved than it is to make something new and good that people will come to love. These multi-billion-dollar companies are leeching off of you like a streamer who begs for tips instead of being interesting or entertaining.
Goal being 150 on this stream, and we are not even close with 2 hours left.
And sometimes the healthiest thing to do is to have some self-respect and cut them off. Stop giving them your money for this half-assed garbage. It does not matter how much you love those old games. They are still out there, and you can still find some way to play them. Stop giving these corporations money to subsidize their own horrible decisions. It isn't easy, and it might even hurt a little bit, but it needs to be done. Force them to make something that you want to play. Hey guys, if you're seeing this, then you made it all the way to the end of the video. Congrats! I know this one was really kind of an angry, more ranty video. I promise the next one will be more upbeat. This one has been kind of mentally taxing. I lost a few days worth of progress because of technical issues with Adobe's software. And it's also been tough because Halo and Call of Duty were always two of my favorites when I was growing up. So to just see these developers continue to desecrate them and puppet their corpses around and be rewarded for it is something I feel very strongly about. But I want to say a special thank you to my buddy James for letting me use his account to get gameplay of these remakes, and an especially big thank you to all of you for watching. The love and support I've been seeing through these last few videos has been tremendous. We just hit 150 subscribers, and I want to keep building past that. If you enjoyed this video, it would be a huge help if you would share it with your friends. The better this video does, the bigger the channel gets, and the better the channel gets, the more videos I can make for you guys, and I intend to start picking up the pace on releases as well. But with all that said, make sure to like and subscribe, maybe leave a comment telling me how much of a cynical asshole I am. Hype the video if you're on mobile, and I just want to say thank you all one last time. God bless each and every one of you, and I will see you in the next one.